Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? You're back in Spanish class with Professor Jason. What I'd like to go over right now is how to ask what time it is and tell somebody what time it is in Spanish. Okay? To be able to do this, you will need to be pretty solid on the numbers, at least from 1 to 30. So, if you need to review numbers, go back to my lesson on numbers, which has already been uploaded here to YouTube, Numbers and Counting in Spanish. Review that, and then come back and do this lesson on asking and telling time, okay? All right, but if you're ready to go on, here we go. To ask somebody what time it is in Spanish, the phrase is, ¿Qué hora es? Okay? ¿Qué hora es? Repeat it once again with me. All right, here we go. ¿Qué hora es? Okay? Most of the time, the first two words of that answer are son las. Okay? So if, for example, it's 3 o'clock, you would say, son las tres. Okay? If it's 5 o'clock, it would be, son las cinco. Okay? What if it's 6 o'clock and somebody asks you, ¿Qué hora es? You look at your watch, bing. You would say, you try it. You should have said, son las seis. Okay? Now what if we have to add some numbers into the mix, right? Some minutes, okay? It's easy. You just say, for example, if it's 6:05, son las seis y cinco, okay? Or 6:13, son las seis y trece, okay? Son las seis y trece. If it's a quarter after the hour, you can say son las seis y quince, but it's more common to hear son las seis y cuarto. Son las seis y cuarto, okay? So that's what you do. You say the hour, son las seis, and then whatever the minutes have to be. Son las seis y 23, for example, okay? Half past the hour, the phrase is y media. ¿Qué hora es? Son las seis y media. Son las seis y media. Okay? Now anything beyond 30 minutes past, they actually will tell you the following hour and then subtract minutes. Okay? So if it's 6:40, technically it's fine to say son las seis y cuarenta, but most of the time you'll hear son las siete menos veinte. Okay, for 6:40. Son las siete menos veinte. In other words, 20 to 7. Okay? Or if it's a quarter to 7, okay, 6:45, okay, son las siete menos cuarto. Son las siete menos cuarto. 5 to 7, son las siete menos cinco. Son las siete menos cinco. If you want to focus on the minutes, you can say son cinco para las siete. Son cinco para las siete. Okay? All right. Okay. Another thing to point out is in Spanish, written and or spoken, you don't hear AM or PM, okay? So if you want to say it's 7 in the morning, okay, you say son las siete de la mañana, okay? 8 in the morning, son las ocho de la mañana, okay? If it were, for example, 2 in the afternoon, the phrase is de la tarde, okay? Son las dos de la tarde, 2 p.m. Son las dos de la tarde. Okay? De la tarde works until it gets to be about 8:39, at which point native speakers would switch over to, probably de la noche. Okay? So 9:30 p.m. son las 9:30 de la noche. Okay? Again, it's always son las. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 9:30 de la noche. Except, or unless, the hour we happen to be talking about is 1 o'clock, a.m., p.m., whatever. In which case, they don't say son las, you would say es la una, okay? So if it happens to be 1 o'clock and somebody says, ¿Qué hora es? I want to say es la una, because it's just 1 hour. I say es instead of son. Es la una, okay? So it could be 1:20, okay? I'm still going to say es la una y 20. Es la una y 20, okay? Es la una y media. Okay, but usually it's son las dos, son las tres y cuarto, etc. Okay, and then one more quick thing to point out. Okay, if it's midday or midnight, okay, 12 o'clock. If it's obvious, I can say son las doce. Okay, or I can say es mediodía. It's midday. It's noon. Es mediodía. If it's midnight, es medianoche. All right. Okay, hopefully I've given you all the tools to talk about times in Spanish, okay? If you rewind and listen to it a couple times, I think you'll see it's all there, okay? It's a lot of information in just a few minutes, okay? But remember, the question is, ¿qué hora es? You respond by saying, son las, and then whatever the hour is, then the word y, then the minutes, and then you can add de la mañana, de la tarde, or de la noche if you want, okay? So, just for fun, let's try a couple and see how you do, okay? What if I asked you what time it is? You looked at your watch and saw this. ¿Qué hora es? You would say to me, what? ¿Qué hora es? You should have said, son las dos. Son las dos. Okay? What if I happen to ask just 15 minutes later, and I said, ¿Qué hora es? You glanced at a clock and it said this. ¿Qué hora es? You would say, son las. You should have said, son las 2:15. Let's try just a couple more. Okay. What if I said now, ¿Qué hora es? You look at your watch and it says this, 3:30 p.m. Okay? You should say, son las 3:30 de la tarde, for example. Okay? Let's just do one more. Let's do one more here. ¿Qué hora es? Okay, you look down at your watch. It's 4:45. You would say, son las, okay, remember, son las 5 menos cuarto. Son las 5 menos cuarto. Okay? All right, that's enough for now. Like I said, if you need to review that, if you want to practice some more, just rewind the video, okay, and go through it a few more times. All right? So thanks again for tuning into my videos. If there's a topic that you'd like for me to prepare a lesson on, don't hesitate to send a message to my channel, Language Now, and I'll get right on that for you. Okay? So, for now, I'm signing out. Hasta luego. Adios. Nos vemos. Ciao.